So my Dollar Tree, and hopefully yours, has these in their plus section. You know, some of our Dollar Trees are now $1.25, $3, $5, whatever. This one here was $5. This is just the bunny head with the ears. It's done on a grapevine or a angel vine, and it's got chicken wire or whatever you want to call it in the ears. And it also has a hanger on the back already. So we're going to do this one here. We're going to decorate that one. And then they also have this one here, which is the full body bunny. And this was also $5 from the Dollar Tree. And this one has the chicken wire in the centers as well, of both his head and his body, but not his ears. And then their description on here, their cards, shows it decorated up in tulips. So we're not going to do anything like that, but we are going to make it look pretty. So first things first, we're going to need our wire cutters or scissors. Cut off this tag, and I will save that so that I can give you all of the details in the description for the numbers and everything like that. So this one is, yeah, that's for the body, and then this one is just the head. So I'm going to show you how you can take these and decorate these up, make them look real nice to hang on your door or give as a gift. These would be great for a teacher gift at this time of year. Grandparents, the kids could give it to the grandparents. So all we're going to be using for this is our bunny, some ribbon. I have two that I've chosen. One is the 2.5 inch natural with the carrots on it. And then the other one is just a 1.5 inch from Sam's Club. They're both from Sam's Club. It's in their spring. This is from last year, I believe. I'm not sure if they have it this year, but they are starting to get their spring ribbon out now. So Sam's Club ribbon is a 50-yard roll. It's $7 and I think 68 cents. So if you break that down, it's really budget friendly. So with your $5 bunny and then your ribbon, it will cost you probably less than $10 to even make this. So it's a really budget-friendly decoration and gift to give. Now I did get some of these flowers that I had. This bush here is a partial, no it's not actually, it's a full bush. Bunch of flowers. This is from Ashland is Michael's. So we've got these nice orange flowers here. It doesn't say, it just says summer. Doesn't say what they are. So we're going to use part of that. We might add in maybe some of this to one of them. This one came from Hobby Lobby. This one has a lot of stems on it. And it was $9.99 regular price. So if you take the 40% off of that, it was $5.99. And then we're going to be using these boxwood. So this one reminded me of like the ends of a carrot. It's a little bit darker and they're longer. They're not the smaller, bigger boxwood. So we're going to use some of that as filler. And then from the dollar store, we have these pack of 6 carrots. So we'll be using those as well. Okay. So for this project, all you're going to need is some wire cutters, some zip ties to make your bow. We'll move this out of the way. And to attach it to your bunny, and then you'll need your bunny and then any of your florals that you're going to use. So we're going to set those two to the side for a second. I'm going to get my bow maker here. I'm using the Easy Bow Stow and Go. And if you want a link to where you can purchase the bow maker, I will have that in the description for you as well. All the information will be stored in the description so that you'll be able to easily go and find where I got it from or where you can get it from. If I have a link for it, I will definitely give you the link. Alright, so we're going to start with our 2.5, and I need to move this over because I have a dowel here that holds my ribbon for me. Let's go this way. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to need my scissors. So we're going to cut our end off. All right, so we're going to use the same ribbons on both of these, and probably the same florals on them. We might use 2 different ones on each one, because I do have those 2 different picks. I don't want to go too long with my tails. On this one, I will probably put the bow in the center so that you can see his head, his ears, and then you'll still be able to see his body. I don't want to cover him up because he is the star, so I don't want to cover that up. And then the one with just the bunny head, I will probably put the bow off to the side of his ear so that you can still see most of the bunny. We don't want to cover him up. He also has already got moss on him, so we don't want to cover too much of that up. So I'm going to go with the first one. We're going to make this tail about a 12-inch tail, maybe 14 inches. We'll go with that first because we can always cut it down. So I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to put it in my bow maker, and I'm twisting so that the bad side, or not bad side, but the bottom side of the ribbon is facing up on one side and my tail is hanging down on the other, but this is the good side of the ribbon. So we're going to make a loop. We're going to do about, let's do 6 inches. So I'm going to scrunch this down in the center. This is just how I like to do mine. You could just take and scrunch it before putting it down in there. And then I'm going to make another loop on this side. So I think I'm going to do 4 loops, 2 on each side. Make sure that's still the same length. We're going to do our second one now. And I'm using my fingers to gauge to make sure those are both the same size. I'm going to twist. And I want to fluff that out and make sure that the edges are straight so that when I do finish and put my zip tie in, everything will be the same. And it will look nice and pretty when I pull it off of the bow maker. Alright, so there's our 2 loops on each side, total of 4 loops. Just straighten out my edges here. So we're going to spread these out. I want one up and one down. My tails are coming down. One up, one down. And then we're going to make sure that our tails are the same length. And I'm going to take my 1.5 inch, which has the orange and green stripes in different shades. I'm going to make my tail the same, and I'm just going to use my other tail to measure it. We're going to do about a 5.5 inch loop here. So I want to be able to see the ribbon below it. So we're going slightly over the 5 on that. And I think I'm only going to do 1 loop for now. Oops, a little bit longer. We're going to do 1 loop on each side for now on this one. We're going to go back in with our 2.5 inch. Again, we're going to use our existing tails to measure. We're going to do another 4, so 2 loops on each side at 5 inches. So just slightly smaller than the last one so that we can see that. This way all the ribbons can be seen and they're not covering each other up. So again, we're going to do 2 on each side. There we go. Scrunch that down in the center. I want to make sure all my edges are straight and out and not crimped up in the middle. Measure it out. And I'm going to do the same thing. This one I'm going to do a little bit shorter, but I'm going to do one loop again. And I'm making this approximately 4, slightly over the 4, 4.5. And one loop. I want to make sure those are about the same size. And I want to make sure all my edges are out and not tucked in. Alright, so cut that one off. I am going to use 2 zip ties. I'm going to use a white and a black. The white is going to hold the bow together. You could use whatever color you have. This one here is a little bit longer. It's an 11-inch. I'm going to tighten that just slightly so it holds my bow together. So there's what it looks like in my bow maker. Make sure all of my stuff is sitting the way it's supposed to, so that when I pull this off of the bow maker, I'm going to grab one side and I'm going to pull up, and now that zip tie is going to be moved over into that indent that is left from where these pegs were. We're going to pull that around to the back, making sure nothing moved. And we're going to give it a little bit of a tighten just to keep everything together while we fluff it out. Don't want anything coming apart. And I want to put my other zip tie through now. This is what's going to attach it to the bunny. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that through the back side underneath that other zip tie. And that's also going to help hold so that I can fluff. So I'm going to grab both the black and the white zip tie, making sure that it's tight enough that I can fluff this out and it not come apart on me. Let's get all of our tails going down front. And then we're just going to fluff. Put your hand in there. Get those ribbons where you want them. Once you tighten this, it's going to be harder to move. So you want to get them all where you want them now. And then zip tie, tighten that zip tie to cinch it and keep them in place. Alright, all of our tails are down front. And that's what it looks like right now. I'm going to tighten my zip tie as tight as I can get it with my hand. Then I'm going to use my zip tie tool, which I link up there in the description. Cut off the excess. And then all we have is the zip tie that's going to attach it to the bunny. So all of that's on there. So we're going to move that out of the way. We're going to take our bunny. We're using the big one here first. Now, when I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going through, this is like an angel vine, so it's easy to get through. Hopefully it'll be easy to get through. I say that and then it may not be. Take your zip tie, the pointed end, and you're going to push it through wherever you want it. Now there's wire in here that's holding all this together, so as long as you get in there through that wire, you'll be good. Trying to get my zip tie to come out the back side. I'll tell you what, let's just take this out. Let's use some floral wire instead. I'm going to grab some floral wire and I'm going to grab my needles. I have these plastic needles also in my shop, wreathdecorbyddawn.com, and we're going to take off a little bit of wire. I'm going cut a good piece of wire off here. And I'm going to poke it through my needle, the end. It's got a nice wide eye on it. And I'm going to go up underneath my bow, my zip tie. Let's take this zip tie out. You can pull that right out, and right up underneath here, take that needle and go right up underneath your zip tie. My end came off of the needle, so let me put that back on before I go any further. Alright, so make sure that this head is laying flat when you go through the zip tie. Pull that through. It's going to go right through there. There you go. And there's your wire. It's already attached. Give it a couple twists so that it's on there. Now we're going to take that wire and we're going to take one end, put it through our needle, and we're going to take the needle and we're going to poke that down through here. So you gotta, there we go, gotta break through that. Of course I picked the needle that didn't have a tip on it because I had busted it. Alright, then we're going to take our needle off, and then we're going to grab our other wire, and we're going to do the same thing, go through there. Let's go. I want to make it even, so I want to make sure that it's sitting even. So there, that one went through a lot easier. That's just because where all that vine's clumped up. There we go. Alright, let's make sure that we've got this in the spot we want it before we tie it off. I smashed my bow. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. And now we're going to tie this off. So I'm going to take these two sides and I'm going to pull them as tight as I can get them, and then I'm going to twist that wire around. Alright, now we'll leave that for now. We'll come back and we'll hide that after we're done. Alright, now we can cut and adjust our tails. There's our bow. Now we can cut our tails to the desired length. So if we'd have cut them before, they would have been too short. This way, we're cutting them now, and we can got them on the project so we can see how short we want them to be. I want them, I think, to go just to the bottom of the bunny. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut them like that. So what you want to do, you want to cut it in a dovetail. So I'm going to fold my ribbon in half. So here's my outer edge, here's the fold. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm cutting at an angle up towards the fold. So I'm cutting from the wire to the fold at an angle. You don't have to have these all the same length. If you don't want to, if you want to stagger the lengths, you can do that. So there is our bow, and it looks cute just like that. We could leave it alone and it would be adorable, but we're going to give it a little bit of fun. So again, those needles are in my shop at wreathdecorbydawn.com. We sell them in 2 different sizes. I have some brand new fun colors I just added. So you want to check that out. You've got the 6-inch size and you have the 3.5-inch size. So let's go ahead and decorate this. So I'm going to use, I think, these orange flowers on this one. So we've got this orangey, pale peachy color we're going to use on that. So I'm going to use part of my boxwood. So I've got 6 pieces here. I'm going to use 3 on this one and 3 on that one. And then we're going to use some of our carrots. Again, these came from the dollar store as well. And I will have everything, all of the materials I use listed up above. So we've got 6 carrots in this package. and we'll use 3 on the other one. So we'll use 3 in this one and 3 on the other one. So we're just splitting everything down the middle. I'm probably going to use some sticks to put in our carrots. So I'll look at that in just a minute. So let me take a look here. I want these fuller pieces. These are push-ups. They're already pushed up to the top. So we're going to go ahead and cut them off. This bush here was $9.99. Probably got it 50% off or more from Michael's. So it would have been about $4.99. And if I got it at the after season sale, I probably paid $1 or $2 for it. So it's hard to tell because I buy things after season. So I didn't mark it, so I'm not sure if I did or not. But that's the best time to buy your supplies, is after season, so that you can use them for next year and you've not paid as much for them or paid full price or even sale price, and you can get them at a better deal, and it makes your project even more budget friendly. Alright, so we've cut all those off. I'm not going to save this here because I don't think I'll use it for another project. I save things and say I will, but then I don't. I'm sure you all can relate to that. Alright, so I don't want this very long, but what we're going to do mainly is we're going to decorate up under the bow and throughout the bow. So I really don't need them that long. So we're going to cut it at an angle. And this is a fuller one, so I'm going to use this and I'm going to go up behind my bow and glue this in right here. And some of these will stick into this angel vine. It is very dense, so sometimes it can be hard. If you have a pick machine, use that, or if you have those green wooden picks, you can use those that have the wire on them. I have my glue pot over here that I use with Gorilla Glue. And I'm going to go up under, I'm going to lift up my bow, and I'm going to stick this right down into that vine and slide it in. Now, not only is that glue going to hold that flower in, but because I glued it right behind the bow, it's going to help hold the bow in place. That one should be down there like that. There we go. So see, we've got that peeking out over here now. And it's not going through the back, so you don't have to cover anything up later. So now let's do another one on the other side. Let's get a nice full one here. This one's fuller. Again, I'm cutting this at an angle to give it a little bit of a point. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to lift up our bow and we're going to go right into that vine. I'm going to go straight down, and then I'm going to lay it down and slide it in. That gives it, make sure that it catches that vine, but doesn't go all the way through. So there we go with that. Now we've got those two. We're going to put one in the top. So we use this one. We don't need it as long, so I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. And we're going to go straight down into that vine. Might need to be a little bit shorter. Yeah, I think we can go shorter. Alright, so I'm going to put some more glue on that. Now if you don't have a glue pot, that's okay. You can use a glue gun, just be very careful. Glue guns will burn you. So if you have a glue gun, just be careful and use it with caution, so this doesn't want to go down into that vine. Gotta work it in there. Alright. There we go. So now we've got our 3 points. And now we can decorate the rest of it. I'm going to use some of this greenery. I want to fluff it out a little bit. I'm going to cut it down. We're going to take and put this in between our loops. So it'll be pinned in there like that, so that we have, I'm going to go, I think, this direction. I think I'm going to go in between where I put those flowers. So I'm going to go like here, so that they're, actually is too long. Like that, so that we have that layered look to it, and it's right in there. Make sure that's what I want to do. It is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to get some glue on there, and I am going right up underneath my loops and sticking that in there. So it's gluing to the underside of my loop. I'm going to do another one on the other side. So over here on this side, you can see, let me zoom in for you. I'm just going, lifting up my loops, and I'm going to go right up underneath here. And I'm going to push that in, and I'm going to give it a little wiggle, and that's going to help it attach to the ribbon. And then I'll lay that loop back down on top of it, so it holds it in place. So it kind of glues that loop down too. There we go. And I've got one more piece here. I'm going to cut that down. You know what I think I'm going to do with this one? Let me see how... These loops may be too long for me to do that. I was going to cut this up and do separate pieces and glue them in, rather than try and glue the whole thing down. Trying to decide where I want to go with this. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom. Alright, so I don't need that much. It's just going to be peeking out of the bottom here. So I'm going to lift up my bow. Get a little bit of that glue on there, and I'm just going to go right up underneath where I tied my bow. There. So if the tails get separated, you can see that greenery, but it's going to lift up. You can just see it peeking out underneath there, but it's going to lift up those tails as well. Alright, now we're going to go in with some more flowers, so it's going to have that layered look. I'm going to do this one here. I want some down, hanging down at the end too, or down at the bottom, so it doesn't look like everything's just up at the top. So I'm going to take this and glue right inside that bow loop. I'm going to open up that loop, and I'm going to put this down into the base of it, and I'm going to tie or push that down in there. So I'm gluing actually to the bow loop now, not to the frame. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing, a little bit shorter. And again, I'm going to get that inside that loop and then push it all the way to the base of that bow loop. That's going to help hold it all in place. So now we've got this layer look going here. I want to do one more on this side. Turn it around here so I can see. With this one, we're going to go right up underneath the loop, in between the two. Got a nice deep area right there in between those two loops. Push that down. There we go. Making sure to open up those loops. And I think I want to do one more with this one, but I'm going to cut it shorter. And this one's going to stick out right up at the top. I want to make sure I put my finger on there. Alright, so that's going to hold that in. We've got one piece left. If we see any place that we need to add one, we'll add it. Alright, let's put our carrots in. So what I'm going to do with my carrots is those stems that I just cut off, I keep extras. So they have a little bit of teeth on the edges of them here where I cut it off, and then it has the thin point to it. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to use my ice pick here. This is a foam carrot, so I just want to make a little hole right here. It'll help guide this through there. And like I said, this has teeth on it, so it's going to grab the inside of that foam and stay. But I will put a dab of glue on it just to be safe. And we're going to push that inside the carrot and give it a twist. So all it is a little piece of foam with some yarn covering it. And then we've got that stem that we can cut to whatever size we need. Alright, so that one we're going to do right here. Cut this a little bit. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to give this a little fold at the end so that that wire has something, you know, there's a little piece there for it to grip to. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's just a little loop at the bottom now. And it's going to help with the glue holding on to it. And we're going to go right up underneath our loop and we're going to push this in. So that's going to glue right inside there. Now I'll put another one over here. We're going to kind of go to the diagonal. I'm just putting a dot of glue on the end so that when I push it in there, it's going to help hold it in place. Give it a twist, and then I'm going to cut this off. And again, we're going to take and fold that over. Add some glue. We're going to go right up underneath here. Oops, where'd you go? Come back. Slid off. There we go. What happened? Alright, we'll try that again. A little bit of glue. Didn't hold on so much. There we go, that's better. And then we're going to put this last one, we're not going to put anything in it, we're just going to dip the end of it in some glue, kind of do it at an angle. And we're going to go right in the center, and we're going to lay that down. And there you have it. There's that one. Isn't that cute? Cute little door hanger. You can put this on an office door, a nursing home door, bedroom door, kids' room. Nice little project to do with with one of your kids. Be great for a school wreath. Nice decoration for a classroom.